Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is prime my eyelids. I will be using the e.l.f. Eyelid Primer in Sheer. And I'm going to apply that over my entire eyelid all the way up to my brows. Next, I'm going to take some tape, and this is just some cheap Scotch tape. I'm going to grab a little bit, and I will be applying this to the back of my hand first before I put it on my face. That way, it's not going to tug too much at the gentle eye area. So, like so. And now I'm going to apply that. Okay, now we have the tape into position. What I will be doing first is taking the e.l.f. Mad for Matte eyeshadow palette. I will be using a few shades from this. And since they're not labeled, I will be showing you guys which ones I am using. So the very first one I will be using is this like brown one right here. This is gonna go in my crease and on my outer eyelid. And I'm using just a really super large fluffy brush for this. Next, I'm gonna go in with a warmer shade, and this is kind of like it's kind of like a warm red brown. I'm only using a little bit at a time. I don't really want to overdo the look, so starting off with just a little bit with that same brush, and I'm applying that to the outer V basically. Now for the next step, I will be taking an eyeshadow that's not from e.l.f. This is from Colourpop. It is in the shade Taco, which is a nice like periwinkle blue. It's like a cornflower blue. It is so pretty. So I'm going to grab some of this using an e.l.f. Essential brush. This is it just says eyeshadow brush, but basically it's a very thin C brush. I'm going to grab quite a bit of product. Colourpop does not do well with blending with brushes. And I love Colourpop, but sometimes I'm like, come on, let me blend you out. So you can do it, but you got to pack on like a crap ton of product. As you can see, yeah, using a brush, it can be done. I'm applying it to the entire eyelid. Basically before the crease. What I will be doing, because it's gonna lose some of its pigmentation when we do blend it, I'm gonna go ahead and take a brush that has a little bit of this product on it to blend it out. And that brush is actually a Luxe liner pencil, or sorry, Luxe pencil. I don't even know why I said liner. Anyways, this is a Zoeva brush right here. It's kind of like a very small pencil brush. I will be grabbing quite a bit of this product on this brush, and I'm going to go ahead and apply that right above where we put the blue. That way it's going to like take away any harsh line, and it's still going to apply a little bit of pigment. Okay, for that I'll be using a Luxe Petite Crease Zoeva brush, basically a larger pencil brush, and I'm going to grab another shade from the Mad for Matte palette, and the shade I will be using is this like dark brown right here. And I'm going to go ahead and put this in the outer V. As you guys can see, that blends really, really nicely into that blue. So it's not crazy, it's just kind of subtle but smoky, and I really, really like that for spring. I love the fact that it's brown, and then, you know, you see a lot of like brown eyeshadows with like pops of blue, but this color of blue isn't your standard like bright blue. It's more of like a periwinkle, which I feel makes it a little bit different and a little bit more fun. Okay, so there's that so far. What I'm going to go ahead and do is take a shade for a highlight. Now, I did have a single from Urban Decay called Foxy, and I love the Mad for Matte palette. However, the lightest shade in here is not really the color I'm going for. So what I'm going to do is take the Urban Decay Naked 2 here, and I do have a little bit of Foxy in this, so I will be grabbing a little bit of that and applying that. You can use any color of highlight. You can use white. My skin is kind of yellow, so if I put white on, it's going to look kind of out there and nuts. So I kind of wanted to keep it a little bit more subtle by applying like a nice nude color. So I'm going to grab a lot of Foxy here. But I'm going to go to Crazy Town and apply a ton of this. And the reason being is we're going to be blending it. So it's going to go right into that brown. It's going to like meld and just make this beautiful transition, which is nice. So don't be afraid to apply a ton of this color, because again, pigmentation will get lost. Okay, so there's that. Now I'm going to go ahead and grab a dark shade from the Mad for Matte palette. Now this is pigmented, so I'm using a very small amount at a time, and it's going to be that black shade right here. It is a nice matte, like charcoal black. So a little bit at a time, and I'm putting that right on the outer edge here. As you can see, that looks a little crazy, so I'm going to wipe some of the excess off of this brush, because I don't want to do it, like I don't want it to be insane. I just kind of want it to be smoky, but I don't want to take away from the brown. I'm going to take a fluffy brush, just a big fluffy one, and I'm going to blend the crease color with that black and then the highlight, and just kind of make it a little bit more subtle so it's not overwhelming. There we go. That's looking a lot better. So that's basically the look. What I'm going to go ahead and do next is do my eyeliner, and I do that off camera just because it's hard for me to get that close to my mirror with the camera because it's like in between us. So I'm going to use a Colourpop liner. This is a cream gel color in Swerve, and just an angled brush. And then for my waterline, I will be using the e.l.f. mineral eyeliner in black. So I will be back after doing that. Okay, so I went ahead and lined my upper lash line and then my waterline using the upper lash line, obviously the Colourpop waterline, the e.l.f. mineral eyeliner in black. Now I'm going to go ahead and take this black eyeshadow from the Mad for Matte palette, and I will be taking a very small pencil brush. I'm going to grab some of that, and I will be smudging it with that black liner. Like so. Now, I will be taking another brush here, and I'm going to grab that same shade Taco from Colourpop, and I will be grabbing quite a bit of it. I'm going to go right underneath that black and right on top of it, essentially. And I'm going to be smudging that bad boy out. Doesn't have to be perfect. You can always clean it up later. So that's it so far. I'm going to take that black, again from the Mad for Matte. I'm going to go on the outer edge of my eye, underneath, to kind of give it a little bit more depth. That way it has like kind of a gradient. Alright, time for mascara, and then I will be cleaning up this area using a concealer or foundation, whichever I have handy. So for the mascara, you guys know what I use on the regular. It is the e.l.f. Mineral Infused Mascara. They only have one color and it's black. So I'm going to go ahead and apply this. All right. Now, before I clean that up, just because the mascara is still wet, I will be contouring the bottom of my face, and for that I will be using the e.l.f. contour palette. I'm using the darkest shade in it. I'm going to go along my jawline. And right underneath my cheekbone. So I'm going to try and like carve out that cheek a little bit. And now I'm going to test my lashes, and they're still wet, so I'm going to wait a little bit before I go ahead and do like the cleanup. Basically, I'm just going to take a beauty sponge, and I'm going to go ahead and take a little bit of foundation, just pat underneath my eye, just to make sure everything is nice and sleek, and you know, that wing is like sharp, so sharp it could kill a man. And yeah, looking good. So of course I'm going to go ahead and skip that, but you guys know the drill, just clean it up. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and finish contouring while I'm letting that foundation set. And again, I'm still using that same palette. So I'm going to go ahead and just kind of work on my forehead a little bit. Alright, and what I'm going to do for a highlight is take the very same palette. I'm going to take that white shade in here, and that's going to be my highlight. So I'm going to grab some of that and pat it directly underneath my eye to help set that foundation, and right on top of my upper cheek area. This is not very shimmery, so I do like it for underneath the eyes. It attracts a little bit of light, but it's not like, you know, crazy overwhelming by any means, which is phenomenal. So I'm going to grab a little bit more and apply that right underneath my contour. I'm going to apply it on my Cupid's bow. On my chin, and just a little bit on my nose. I'm actually gonna blend it out on my nose because it's a little pale right there. Awesome. So take my brush and kind of soften everything a bit. Okay, now for the blush, I decided to kind of keep it a little bit neutral just because the eyes themselves are like out there. So I am using a Nude Collection blush in Suede from Sleek Makeup, which is like one of my favorite brands now. Like, gosh, I could go on all day about Sleek. But I'm not gonna, because that would be like a really freaking long video. So I'm gonna go ahead and buff that first at the edge of my face, and I'm gonna bring some of that color inwards. Now for the lips, what I've decided to do is take a Colourpop Lippie pencil, and I'm just gonna line my lips, and the shade is, I believe it's Skimpy. Yes, Skimpy. Before I do that though, I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself because they're super chapped, and they always are. So I try to use stuff that's very hydrating on them. I'm going to go ahead and try a product that is a little tried and true. It's been a while since I used it. This is the e.l.f. Lip Primer and Plumper. I'm just going to use like the plumper side. There we go. So much better. Okay. Now it's time to line my lips. Now, not only am I going to line the lips, I will be filling them in with this as well. Because it gives my lips a really nice, like, nude base. And I will be taking a brush as well. With the brush, what I'm going to do is just kind of like make sure everything is like blended and that it's good. Or actually, I may even have to use my finger. Let's see if I can find a brush. Okay, this one should be all right. Okay. So I'm just going to very lightly make sure everything is good and covered. Awesome. I will be applying a lip gloss. This is the Extra lip gloss from e.l.f. It's in the shade Scott. This is the look. It is extremely easy. It looks like it had taken a lot of time, but I did it pretty slowly on this side of my face just to show you guys. Obviously I'm recording, so yeah. Anyways, I hope you guys have enjoyed this tutorial. I hope you guys are just as excited about spring as I am, because I'm so sick of this crappy weather. Again, thank you, and I'll see you guys in the next video.